Imagine you're mailing a care package to a friend and the cost of shipping depends on the weight of the package. These are the functions used to calculate the cost to ship the package based on its weight. The rule used to calculate the shipping cost changes depending on which weight range or interval the package falls into. This scenario is a classic example of a piecewise function, a function whose domain is divided into intervals or pieces with a different subfunction assigned to each interval. Today, we'll explore different piecewise functions, define their domain and range, and evaluate piecewise functions for different input values. Let's get into it. Here's an example of a piecewise graph. The domain of this piecewise function is split into 3 intervals, or pieces, and each piece has a different shape. We can evaluate this function using the graph in the same way we'd evaluate any other function represented on a graph. For example, try evaluating f of -5. What's the output when the input is -5? Yeah, it's -4. What about f of 2? Yep, that'd be -2. There are some points on this graph that look different than what we're used to seeing, though. For instance, what's the value of this function at x equals -1? Pause the video while you record your answer. When we go to evaluate f of -1, it looks like there might be 2 output values on the graph. But since this is a piecewise function, we know that there cannot be more than one output for any given input. So which one is it? The output of -4 has a closed circle, while the output of -8 has an open circle, which represents a place where a function is not defined. So f of -1 is -4. Using that same approach, what's f of 5? Exactly, it's 4, since there's a closed circle at 5, 4. One more. What's f of -10? In this case, we'd say that f of -10 is undefined, because the function does not exist when x is -10. All right, let's move on to some other features of the graph. What would the domain and range of this function be? When we find the domain and range of a piecewise function, we look at the function as a whole, not just the individual intervals. Starting with the domain, the smallest x value is -9, but there's an open circle there, so it's not inclusive. The largest is infinity, since there's an arrow pointing to the right in that final interval. Is there anywhere on the x-axis where this function is not defined? In this case, even though there are also open circles at other points, they don't affect the domain of this function because those inputs are still defined somewhere else on the graph. So in inequality notation, the domain would be -9 is less than x is less than infinity. And in interval notation, it's -9, infinity with parentheses on both sides. As for the range, what values of y can and cannot be created by this function? Y values all the way down to -infinity can be created, again because of the arrow pointing downward in that last interval. But the largest y value in this function is 4. This time inclusive because of the closed circle. There are no gaps between those values, so the range in inequality notation is -infinity is less than y is less than or equal to 4, and in interval notation, it's -infinity, 4 with a bracket next to the 4. Now that we've gotten more familiar with piecewise graphs, here's the function represented by the graph we've been working with. Each subfunction represents one of the pieces shown on the graph. The numbers in the domain of each interval align with the endpoints on the graph, and the inequality symbols align with the open and closed circles. If we were only given the function and asked to evaluate f of 5, how would we know which interval to use for that input? We'd have to look at the domain of each interval. The second and third intervals both mention an x value of 5 in their domain, but only the second one actually includes 5, since it uses the inequality symbol less than or equal to. So we use the second subfunction, 2x minus 6, to evaluate f of 5. That gives us an output of 4, which matches the output we identified on the graph where the closed circle is. We can also use the function to determine if certain values are undefined. Earlier, we found that f of negative 10 is undefined because the graph doesn't exist when x equals negative 10. Using the function, we can come to the same conclusion because negative 10 is not included in any of the intervals for this function. Let's try another one. For this piecewise function, evaluate g of negative 7, g of negative 3, and g of 6, then identify the domain and range and record them in both inequality and interval notation. When exact outputs are not clearly identifiable on the graph, be sure to evaluate it using the function. Pause the video here while you work. We can clearly see on the graph that g of negative 7 is negative 1. If we were to evaluate using the function, we'd use the first interval since negative 7 is less than negative 4, and we'd also get an output of negative 1. To evaluate g of negative 3, it's best to use the function to get the exact output since the graph shows that it's going to be a decimal value. The input falls within the domain of the second interval between the x values of negative 4 and positive 6, so we'll substitute it into that subfunction. Evaluating gives us an output of 4.25, which lines up with what we see on the graph. The graph shows that there is a valid output for an input of 6, between 6 and 7, but since it's not a whole number, we'll need to use the function to evaluate. Which interval should we use? Looking at the function, which interval includes 6 in its domain? That would be the second one, 1/4 x plus 5. So we'll substitute 6 into that subfunction and evaluate to give us an output of 6.5. Even though in this case we would have gotten the same output using the third subfunction since the points overlap, that won't always be the case. It's important to pay attention to the domain of each interval and to use the inequality symbols to decide which piece a given input actually belongs to before you evaluate. Last but not least, we have the domain and range. The domain of this function as a whole is all real numbers, or from negative infinity to positive infinity, because of the arrows on the left and right ends of the first and third pieces of the function. And the range is from negative infinity to 6.5 inclusive. All right, now try practicing evaluating a piecewise function without having the graph to help us find or check our outputs. For this function, evaluate h of negative 10, h of negative 3, h of 1, and h of 4. Be sure to pay close attention to the domain of each interval so that you use the right subfunction when evaluating. Starting with h of negative 10, we'll use the first subfunction here since its domain is x is less than negative 3, which includes negative 10. Evaluating gives us an output of positive 4. Which subfunction should we use to find h of negative 3? That would be the second one, since its domain includes negative 3, as shown by the inequality symbol less than or equal to. That gives us an output of positive 1. What about h of 1? That input value fits squarely in the domain of the second interval, so we'll substitute 1 for x there and get an output of negative 7. And what about h of 4? The upper end of the domain of the second interval is x is less than 4, but not equal to. And the third interval has a domain of x is greater than 4, but also not equal to. So the x value of 4 isn't actually included in the domain of the piecewise function at all. So here, h of 4 is undefined. And there you have it, our introduction to piecewise functions. Remember to always think carefully about which interval a given input fits into, using the inequality symbols as your guide. Stay curious, and I'll see you next time. Hey.